My adventurous and optimistic Sagittarius friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Sagittarius, this week you may notice a subtle restlessness beneath the surface, a quiet sense of anticipation that feels almost like a held breath. There's an urge to begin something, or perhaps to commit in a new way, but it's coupled with that uncertain flutter that comes when you're standing at the edge of new ground. Maybe it's the way you find yourself replaying recent conversations in your mind, or that slight tension in your chest when you think about plans you haven't yet voiced. It's not dissatisfaction exactly, but more a gentle friction between where you are and where you suspect you could be. The familiar routines that once offered comfort now seem a little too tight. You may sense the need for change, even if you can't quite name what it is yet. Still, beneath it all, there's a quiet hope, a belief that the next step, however small, could shift everything. This is an in-between state, a pause before movement where your inner questions take up more space than your answers. When the Page of Pentacles appears here, it doesn't announce itself with fanfare. Instead, it arrives as a gentle nudge, whispering to the part of you that is ready to learn again. You may feel a growing curiosity this week, an openness to new ideas or skills. There's a quiet diligence, a willingness to start from the beginning, maybe even a touch of humility in acknowledging what you don't yet know. You might notice yourself paying closer attention to small details, or lingering a little longer with tasks that once felt routine. Underneath, there's a deep-seated desire to build something lasting, even if it means moving slowly or revisiting old ground with new eyes. This isn't about proving yourself to others. It's more intimate, a conversation between you and your own sense of possibility. There may be moments when self-doubt creeps in, that familiar voice questioning whether your efforts will matter. But there's also a quiet resilience, a willingness to keep showing up, even when the outcome isn't certain. You're holding a seed not yet planted and weighing it in your palm, wondering what it could become. The tension here is gentle but persistent, a longing for growth paired with the vulnerability of beginning. It's a time of small beginnings and honest reflection, where your inner posture is one of attentive preparation. You're not pushing ahead recklessly, nor are you holding back out of fear. Instead, you're listening, both to your own needs and to the subtle invitations the world offers. This is a week of noticing, of allowing your curiosity to guide you, even if only in tiny steps. There's wisdom in your uncertainty and strength in your willingness to learn. That inner posture, open, attentive, quietly hopeful, begins to shape what unfolds around you. The questions you carry become the lens through which you see your daily life. The desire to build or refine something, even if you're not sure what, draws you toward tasks and choices that ask for your care. The energy isn't dramatic, but it's persistent. Each small effort begins to gather its own momentum. As the days move forward, the 8 of Pentacles makes itself known, not as a burden but as a steady rhythm. The week brings with it a sense of repetition, of showing up, of honing a craft or tending to something that matters, even when it feels ordinary. You may find yourself in the flow of daily responsibilities, work, study, or quiet projects that ask for your attention and patience. There can be a certain friction here, especially when old habits press up against your desire to do things differently. You might notice where you slip into autopilot, or feel the urge to rush through tasks just to reach the end. Yet each time you pause to bring more care, there's a subtle shift, a sense of satisfaction in the work itself. The pressures this week aren't loud, but they are persistent. Expectations, whether from others or yourself, may weigh on you more than usual. There's a drive to improve, to measure your progress, to see tangible results. This can create moments of self-critique where your attention is drawn to mistakes or unfinished work. But within this steady effort, there's also the potential for mastery in the smallest of gestures. The act of returning to the same task, of refining your approach, becomes a kind of meditation. It's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture when the days blur together, but the repetition is not meaningless. Each small act, each choice to do something with greater care, is a step in building something real. There's friction in the process, certainly, the urge to skip steps, the impatience that arises when progress feels slow. But the momentum you build this week is quiet and steady, and it comes from your willingness to engage, to try again, to see each day as another chance to shape your path. What's unfolding isn't always visible, but it's happening nonetheless, woven into the fabric of your ordinary moments. If you let yourself meet this moment fully, if you stay present with your efforts and listen to the subtle cues of your own energy, something shifts. The potential for change doesn't arrive as a sudden breakthrough, but as a calm invitation. The path ahead opens only as much as you allow yourself to pause, to reflect, to let the deeper wisdom settle in. It's not about doing more, but about meeting yourself where you are with honesty and care. The possibility for new growth rests on your willingness to acknowledge both your fatigue and your resilience, to honor the process as much as the outcome. There's a quiet clarity that comes from conscious engagement, a sense that you're not just moving through your days, but actually living them, breath by breath, choice by choice. The Four of Swords whispers of a gentler growth, the kind that arrives when you give yourself permission to rest and gather your energy. This isn't the rest of avoidance, but the rest that allows you to integrate what you've learned. You may find as the week unfolds that space opens up for stillness, not just the absence of activity, but a kind of spaciousness within your own mind. Here, reflection is possible. The pressures and efforts of the previous days begin to settle, and you have a chance to notice what has shifted inside you. There's an invitation to step back, to look at your work with kinder eyes, to recognize the value in your persistence. Growth, in this moment, doesn't look like more effort. It looks like softness, like letting your thoughts land and your breath deepen. You're invited to notice the difference between rest that replenishes and rest that numbs. It's a subtle distinction, but it makes all the difference. In this space, insights can arise quietly, clarity about what matters most, or a gentle acceptance of where you are now. You don't have to force anything. The potential this week is in allowing yourself to pause, to listen, and to trust that the seeds you've planted are finding their way. Growth is happening even in the quietest moments. Across the week, the story threads itself together. You begin in a space of honest curiosity, holding the seed of something new, the Page of Pentacles. That inner readiness calls you into practice, into the steady work of shaping your days, as the Eight of Pentacles asks you to show up and engage, even when it feels repetitive. Friction is part of the process, as is the quiet satisfaction of progress made in small increments. And then, as you move through the rhythm of effort and attention, the Four of Swords offers a gentle place to land, a space for rest, reflection, and the slow integration of all you've learned. The movement of the week is not linear, but cyclical. You begin, you build, you rest. Each stage feeds the next, and there's no need to rush or force the process. You are invited to trust your own rhythms, to honor both your energy and your need for stillness. Through it all, there's a sense of reassurance. You're not missing anything. The work you do, inner and outer, is enough. Even in the quietest moments, something meaningful is unfolding. By week's end, you may notice a little more spaciousness in your heart, a sense that you've met yourself just as you are and found it to be enough for now. Actionable insights for Aquarius this week. Sometimes the most meaningful shifts come quietly, after effort has settled and hope has softened. This week, you might try letting your curiosity guide you into a small new practice just for its own sake. Notice the difference it makes to bring extra care to a familiar task. Let yourself pause when the urge to judge your progress arises. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I breathe in, steady and present. Each small effort is enough for today. I notice the quiet in my own heart. My strength gathers softly beneath the surface. I trust the pace that feels right for me. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.